Hey, I look like I've been rode hard and put up wet, but I've been bush hogging. Walked the garden, patched fences, and pretty much just kind of kept busy at that. I never know where to look for this camera. I know I don't want it above me because then it shows my bald spot. But I can't afford to have it show the rest of me because then it shows my greasy spot. It's raining now, so thought this would give me a little time. During the last year, maybe longer, ever since they diagnosed the lung cancer, and now they're saying it's gone, and I don't have to do radiation and full chemo, but I do a thing called Keytruda, which is a immunotherapy drug, or some say a watered down chemo. I know it'll kick your butt sometimes, but by and large, I figure I've got a year left of doing this. First week's rough. They put it right in that port right there. And so, there's that. But it's just funny. I have watched more, I'm going to say television, but YouTube more than anything. I could care less about TV. It's just this thing. I could care less about TV. I hate the commercials, and I ain't paying for the premium channels because it's ridiculously high. So, I figure, what the heck? Actually wore my shirt out, you can't see it. But anyway, it's been a wild year. So I want to take you through a few things that I've seen that I really liked. And some things I've liked, sort of. Netflix is a sort of. They got old stuff. And every once in a while they have semi-old stuff. But, sometimes the old stuff's what it calls for. I'm not going to mention what I do with the Fire Stick because I don't want to get in trouble. But anyway, it's been a relearning process. And I don't know when the relearning will end. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow, maybe never. But I lost a lot this time, but I've lost a lot other times. So, you don't work with what you wish you had, you work with what you got left. And that's what I'm doing. A lot of times, if I'm in the house, I'm in here in my bedroom, on the computer, I'll put my nostrils back in. I carry my little, call it my backpack. It's a little can of O2. Because if I get up there and get hot or stressed, it's going to feel a lot like a heart attack. A whole lot. And I've had 2 of those. So, I kind of got an idea what they feel like. But that makes me cautious. I got to figure out what else I can do and what else I can't do. I may or may not be able to do the cows anymore. If I can't, I can't. Had them all my life. I'll be 60 this year. And so it's all kind of turned around upside down. I started out, I think my downfall came from getting Lyme's disease. Because it took a year's worth of medicine. That was when it was first found. Just to get ahead of it and get over it. And it left me with like a small arthritis. And somewhere along the line, I ended up with full-blown pernicious anemia from that. And from there, later on, done a heart attack. They found cutaneous T-cell lymphoma, which is the Roundup cancer. And had to have my left shoulder reworked. And because I wasn't 100%, which I wasn't 100% before they did it, but because I wasn't 100% after surgery, UPS couldn't fire me, but I didn't want to retire. But they did end up settling and got a little, very little pocket money. But I did get my retirement. That meant a lot. Went into real estate, I was doing great. I was over in Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge, Sevierville, doing Fannie Mae foreclosures. And then it's when about the time my throat cancer hit. And that one took me down real bad. I didn't think I'd live through that. You know, but I knew from that heart attack I had in 2005, if I could build back from that, I could surely do something with this. And I did. Then this past year, I got lung cancer. But I got what they call non-small cell. My stepdad, he had throat cancer, and his also migrated to his lungs, and his was the small cell, which there ain't no curing it. And about like his cutaneous T-cell lymphoma. And then mine, they still ain't sure, but they don't know whether to call it cancer or not. In my brain, they wanted to, they burned out 2 tumors. And they're watching another one now. I go back in 6 weeks and we do the MRI again. They have to dope me up, put me in one of the machines. I am claustrophobic as I'll get out. But anyway, Mark, he stood up and got dressed for work. My cousin, that's where farms join, he stood up, got dressed for work, and collapsed. He went septic. He spent a long time in the hospital. And he didn't have no insurance. So Covenant really just patched him up and sent his little butt right back out because there wasn't no money in it for him. That's a sad state when a country that's as great as ours has money, greedy assholes. I mean, they charge a fortune. Every time I sit in that chair to get my Keytruda, which is once every 3 weeks, it's almost $70,000. Mark, they done 2 or 3 MRIs. Anyway, he went crippled. And Bobby, who they lived together for 37 years, he got up one morning and come walking through the trailer. He spoke and she didn't speak. So he went back and spoke again. She didn't speak. So he touched her to see if he could wake her. She was ice cold. Still don't know what she died of. And since then, they've cut Mark from his sternum almost to his private parts. Then they went on each side of his groin and cut him. Then they went on each side of his hip and cut him. Now this was Tanoa. Hell of a lot different doctors than what's at Covenant. He was 100% occluded in his aorta. So they made him veins and cut out whatever. They done whatever. But they cut him up. But he can feel his legs. He can walk a little. He can't walk much. But he can walk a little. He's got one drop foot, which I bought him a brace, that helps him with the drop foot. He's talking about getting rid of his cows too, because he can't even attempt to get on a tractor and bale hay. Cutweb's got to cut it and rake it first. But anyway, all this time sitting around on my butt, doing nothing, well, not doing much, I get in trouble that way. So I got to looking on the TVs and stuff, and especially YouTube. I'm a big YouTube person. And so I'm going to stop the live. Well, it's not live. I'm going to stop the the thing. I'm going to stop it, and then we'll start recording off my screen. Okay, I lied. I forgot. I was going to do this other. One good thing about getting old is you don't have to worry about remembering nothing. But this coronavirus or Corvid-19, it's just got all kinds. They don't really know what to call it. But these alleged masks that they want everybody to wear. Hopefully this will reach somebody with a little common sense. And it has power. If you have COPD or lung damage from lung cancer or asthma, you don't want to put on a mask. I've had to wear it twice now in the hospital, but I keep one of these under it now. But just to prove my point to me and everybody else, when I went for my last Keytruda infusion, I wore their little mask. We done an O2. I stuck my finger in there. We done an O2, blood ox saturation. Mine was 90. That's pretty low. And so thinking that you can breathe your own breath, trees breathe your own breath, but we're not meant to breathe our own breath. So whatever Jack Wagon came up with doing them things, and I've heard both sides. Oh, they help block. Oh, they don't block. 6 foot spacing. Oh, it travels for 15 foot. After a while, and all these COVID commercials, I'm looking at these COVID commercials, and I'm thinking, okay, are they stupid? Or do they think I'm stupid? They get in there and they do their at home broadcasting. We're spacing ourselves apart. We don't want too many people in on the set. Well, how big is their set? Like Mickey Mouse size? I don't know. I'm just over it. I'm over the COVID, whatever you want to call it, virus. I personally don't know anybody that's had it. And I personally went everywhere without a mask or gloves or sanitizer or any of that crap. So I don't understand it. Now, if I live in New York, it might be different. But I still would not. To me, if you're going to wear a mask, you better have oxygen coming into you. Because you're not supposed to breathe the shit you breathe out. You're not a tree. Although it brings some fault. I seen some crazy girl at Gons on Face Like the Sun. He played a little clip. She self-identifies with a deer and goes out and picks grass. We have really been taken over by idiots. I mean, that's just stupid. There's a joke. A guy run in the women's bathroom, and the guy was sitting there waiting on his daughter to come out. And he seen that guy go in there, and he walked in there. He said, "Oh, I self-identify with a little girl." And he beat the snot out of him. And he said, "Really? I self-identify with a boxer." So I thought that was funny. But it's COVID. You're beating a dead horse. And if Bill at the Gates or whoever thinks that I'll take a virus made in China where the shit come from to start with, along with Bill Gates himself. I mean, Bill and Melinda Gates, his grandmother was Margaret Sanger, I get it wrong all the time. The one that started Planned Parenthood. You might have heard of her, the one that liked abortions. She was into eugenics. And for those of you that don't know what eugenics is when the top 1% decide that everybody under them shouldn't be there. Which Bill Gates done that over in Africa to those people. You know, they believe in culling the undesirables. If you had a brother or sister or mother or father that committed a crime and they had to be put to death, they'd put you to death too because they think you'd do the same thing. If you've got homeless people, they'd put that homeless person and all their kin to death. You know, you'd have to hear Bill Gates' speech on how older, poorer people just need to be left alone to die. I've tasted death. I'm not afraid of death. Actually, it's better than life. But there's no point in rushing nobody off the planet. You know, and especially babies. This is the crap they done back in the Old Testament, passing their babies through the fire, cannibalism. You'll have to check on your food producers to see what that's about. But anyway, I thought I'd just throw that in. I don't do masks. I do if the hospital requires them, but if I do oxygen underneath them. But apart from that, I don't know how many hands I've shook when I went through the grocery store and everything else. Mostly people that were like me. They're not scared. And I watch these others look at me like, oh, I can't believe. I tell you a good way to get through Walmart fast. Step in line, no mask, and start. You'll be surprised how many people run out of your line. You get through there faster that way. Before we get off this coronavirus crap, that's just a little something I wrote up. And I've done research on it. And Lucent Technologies, that's I never can say that, Borealis. And the chip that they give you, it's smaller than that now. There was somebody wrote a real good thing up on it. And it was, they done real good. You look at this, and they studied more into it than I did. So, you can see from the thing, or you can go to my board and the reason why I had this is because Jared Kushner he rents out to these people or owns part of it. I never have understood that. But how strange is it that they had a thing in October 18th of 2019 of what happens if a pandemic was to hit. John Hopkins, isn't that funny? They have a live count. Bill and Melinda Gates, World Economic Forum. There's several people. This is worth looking into, folks. This is just like 911 when they had all the mock stuff. Another thing that I kind of wanted to touch on was Jeffrey Epstein. Now, we all heard he killed himself, but there's no cameras working right there. And there's Trump. This sleazeball, look here who's beside of Bill Gates. This sleazeball he just seems a little too convenient for me. How he is with Clinton, who seemed to be his number one guy on the pilot or passenger on his plane. But it just seems to me like uh, it's just too damn convenient for him to die, be hung, die, and there happens to be no cameras working. How dumb do they think we are? There's a pyramid. I mean, seriously, how dumb are we to be? Uh, who's to say that they didn't let him go to some island and he's living out a quite comfortable, perverted life? And why aren't these people that they have their names and their addresses? So why aren't they arresting them? This seemed a little too convenient. What do you think? I really thought I'd discovered something when I discovered this Kent Rollins cowboy cooking. Apparently, this old boy's been up there a pretty good while and still making videos. I've got this book and I've got this one ordered. I mean, I like him. I like the way he cooks. I like the way he talks. We sound a lot alike. So, anyway, I thought that I had really discovered an unknown talent. But this dude, he'd been there a while. And apparently, he's went up against some of the best cooks like Bobby Flay and won. Of course, if you see what he cooks, I couldn't eat a lot of the hot stuff, but I'd sure give it a whirl. Then you got Richie from Boston. He's been there for a while. I've been listening to him for a while. Just discovered last night Mike Rowe. He just got a lot of good horse sense. I liked what he said about congratulating the people that went to trade school and found this, and he's probably been there a while too. Well, he's got 1.85 million subscribers, so yeah, he's been there a while. Slapped him. He's got a lot of weird stuff, but it's good. Gons, A Face Like the Sun, he's always been one of my favorites. King and That Is Impossible. He's been there a while too. I've watched him for a pretty good while. Jason A. I really like Jason A. He just got a lot of good stuff up there. I watched the gardening channel. Of course, I like to garden, so Steaders. I must have liked them. Yeah, I liked her. She's nice. Seems to be nice. Framing the World. They're good. Project Farm. I love this dude here. I'm telling you, he tests stuff. He's actually got a farm. I didn't realize that until I was watching him for a while. But he actually has a farm. I don't know if this is the same Freeman or not. I've subscribed to a bunch of different places. And I've been watching a lot of cooking channel stuff. I bought a smokeless grill. Watch some people cook on it. Most of those people's full of crap. It don't quite cook the way they let on like it does. But it is good. I do like it. It's just not this miracle thing that And then I bought me an Instant Pot. That's David Icke. He's a little new agey and a little off whack with his beliefs, but he's spot on with the power. That's my cell phone. How stuff works. I always thought that was pretty cool. Edge of Wonder. I think I already went over them boys. Those are good. There are just a lot of good. Now, what do I like in TV shows? Forged in Fire. I like Skinwalker Ranch. Neither one of them seems to really be at it. Soldier of God. He's good. He's had some good stuff. I don't know much Flat Earth, but David Duke. And unfortunately, that's me. These are the things that I usually watch. I could care less for watching a lot of that nonsense on television. Although I do like Criminal Minds. Plandemic. That's Shock of God. Texas Prepper. I gotta say, yeah, because I used the same format watching his video to make my greenhouse. This guy's all right. I think he takes some things a little too far. And unfortunately, this channel, I don't guess it's ever going to have anything else up since Russell died of throat cancer. He was a good man. I haven't watched any of his current stuff since he's been out. Good Pipe Ministries. These people are good. You want to check rock and roll, movies, see who sold out, and see what you're listening to and have what you're watching, that would be the place. This was Nowhere to Run, which was Chris's, but he still does emails with audio, no video anymore. He wrote some books that are good. And I love this dude. Brother Nathaniel. Well, Brother Nathaniel is no longer on YouTube because they say he has hate speech. He's just telling the truth, folks. Or Macola, however you pronounce it. He's really good and he's really smart and he will not be bought out. So, whatever he tells you, you can take it to the bank. There's just a lot of good stuff up here that I found. Maybe like that Jay Shetty. He's got a lot of good stuff. And he's good. Watching the tube. I don't care much for TV. I don't like the line. I don't like the falseness. I don't like the agenda that it has. And the one that they're pushing. The Patriot Nurse. She's pretty cool. She seems to be up on a lot of events. And she's got a lot of good information. So, and in the scariest movie ever, KJ's got a lot of stuff and it's good. I watch him a lot. So, before I forgot, I thought I better put them. There's probably other ones I've forgotten too, but Age of Deceit, if you want to watch a good film, that's it. And of course, I listened a lot to this cowboy cooking. Yeah, so this is, I want to give a shout out to Misty, my daughter. That's my oldest one. She was the one that encouraged me to make some more videos. But now you probably know more than you should or more than you wanted to. This is my second attempt at this. My phone started ringing and it was some girl selling something, brace or something. I don't know. But anyway, you know, I don't know. Maybe you've had something happen to you. And sometimes you just want to give up. I know one of the few times my wife ever seen me cry was during throat cancer. She walked in and I told her, I said, I've done all I can do. I want to go home. And I didn't eat for 3 days. I didn't drink for 3 days. Ended up in the hospital. But if you've had something bad happen to you and it's kept you from doing stuff, maybe you can't do what you used to do. I ain't Superman, but I also don't like being told what I can do and what I can't. So if I can do it, you can do it. You know, it's just that simple. Just because something happens and you can't do what you want to do, it's okay. You can find other things to do. Or maybe you can find ways around it. With those 104 tomato plants out there, I can't bend over. I've got spinal stenosis. I literally crawled from place to place and put it out. I wash dishes. I used to never wash dishes. I put them up. There's just little things that I can do, you know. They won't let me around the chickens. But, you know, I can go in the garden. I can feed the dogs. Fed the cows last year, the donkeys and the sheep. Whatever you do, just don't lay there and give up. Because that ain't fair to the people you love. So anyhow, it gives you a little idea of what's worth watching and what's not. I'm sure there's other shows. Project Bluebeam, that was a good show. But it's done, and William Shatner's The Unexplained. Both of those, though, they're gone. And Skinwalker Ranch, I think it's got a season finale coming up. The Rookie's good. I used to work on TV, so I'm not much on watching TV. You know, if you work on enough of them long enough, you'll just say to heck with it. But just don't quit.